One day, we saw smoke at the SS accommodations coming up. They were burning papers. We saw papers coming up, flying up into the air in the flames. They were burning the evidence, all evidence. And eventually, without that we knew, they flew, they ran away. We didn't know yet. And then the Russians came, and we were liberated.
They looked at us, and they left, because there was still the war. They were fighting the war. So we were there. 4 days later, they came, and they gave us food.
At the time, the British entered the camp, and my mother told my brothers, do not eat the food from the soldiers. I don't know how she knew that. But she just told them, don't eat the food from the soldiers. And the soldiers, meaning well, gave them hard food like chocolate, whatever they had. And their stomachs could not tolerate it. But my mother, she really was truly unbelievable.
The story of his liberation, actually it occurred probably April 28th or 29th. He was on a train, of all things. He was on a train that was on its way to I don't know where, and the train, the engine, the locomotive was bombed, and the train was disabled. It was American forces. They pried the cattle cars open, and the way he used to tell the story was, first they waited for all of the bodies to fall out. And then once the bodies all fell out, they all jumped out of the train, and they ran away. And he ran, he spent one night, I believe he would say that he spent one night in a farmhouse with several of his other escapees. So he was among the first of that group to be liberated.
We came home from work. We didn't go back to the camp. We walked on a highway, and the German people was watching us. We was just walking. We didn't know what's going on. And all of a sudden, we're looking back, all the Germans, they disappeared. We was free, nobody was watching us. We was on a highway, you didn't see any houses, nothing, just a flat thing. And all of a sudden, we see trucks are coming with the Russian soldiers. And then we realize they're gonna free us. They didn't know who we are because we looked like crazy people, no hair, with the striped dresses, freezing. So all of a sudden, from nowhere, one soldier came in the front. He's telling for us, I'm who? I didn't even know what it meant that time. And he was a Jewish soldier.
Yeah, we found out there was a train going. We were already in Hungary that time, but we had to go back, and it was at night. So we arrived 12 o'clock midnight. It was maybe 2 miles from where I lived. So it was walk in the morning. And then the governor saw me, but he was no more governor because the Russian communists took over. So he said to me, he asked me if anybody was alive. I said, no. Then he said to me, come to my house. Your father left $1,000. So I gave it to him. And we were able to get mail from America, from my uncle. And right away, he sent a telegram. Right away, he's gonna help us. He sponsored us to come to America. I came in 1947.
And the guide took us across the border. Now, what was the border there? A little stream made the border between France and Switzerland. So he carried us across the water so we wouldn't be wet, told us which direction we have to walk in order to get the streetcar to go into Geneva, gave us some Swiss money so we could pay our fare, and we made it.
The UNRWA had arranged a transportation of so-called displaced persons who had been in concentration camps in Germany to America. We went on a troop transport ship to America. Again, I was sitting on the third floor of a 3-bedded room, but this one was wonderful, and the food was excellent, which we had to take in standing, like the soldiers apparently had in the basement of the ship. We arrived in America and saw the Statue of Liberty.
I remember when the war was over and the newsreels came out of the British and the American and the Russian liberating the camps, and we saw all those dead bodies. I said, well, it could be my parents. We had no idea. But they took 4 months. We got a letter from the Red Cross. I was afraid to open it because it means either they're dead or alive. They went to hell but survived. So I came to the United States in 1947. My brother and sister stayed in England. But in all those years, I've gone back, and they've come here visiting.
Being a child of a survivor, of 2 survivors, it didn't really sink in until much later. I remember when I was 12, and that's when I said, how come I don't have, because everybody's going Thanksgiving and all these holidays, how come we don't have grandparents? So my mother's answer was that she just said that they were killed. They died. No, they died.
My father didn't talk about the DP camp very much. I had on my own joined a group of children of survivors. The name of the group was The Generation After. And I started to go to meetings, and I educated myself largely about the Holocaust. And I guess one day I just asked my parents about it. I was the catalyst. He was really like a spigot. He went from never saying a word to you couldn't get him to shut up. He had so much to say.
And my mother said her father suddenly burst out with, who will tell our story? Who will tell what happened to us? Who will tell of our suffering? Who will tell of our despair? And my mother made him a promise right then and there that if she survived, if she lived, she would tell the story. And so in the year 2000, my mother's book, Our Tomorrows Never Came, was published by Fordham University Press. But that was the promise that my mother had made to her father when he said, who will tell of our despair and all that? And she said, she'll do it.
I want they should remember what we went through. We lost 6 million people, innocent people. We was innocent. What did I do? Nothing. Only because I'm Jewish. That's it. But thank God I'm here. My kids were born here. That was the best thing to me.
Me personally, love life, enjoy every day, be nice to your neighbor, be nice, be kind. If I had one message I'd like people to do, is to be kind. I think that would be the message.
The Holocaust started with words, with hate, and with words, with bullying. Telling the Jew to get off the sidewalk and stand in the street is bullying, and it's the beginning.
Talk to people, respect everyone, learn about them, learn about other cultures, learn about the world. You've got to learn, because we were brought up with hate. And not respect other people, and look down on people. And in this country, it's so wonderful. You can learn about everyone, no matter how old you are. You can always learn. And I think that's our solution.
As for how to prevent hatred, I think this center does a good job of presenting viciousness and how destructive it is. And it's a huge challenge because, for example, my students, the majority of them didn't know about World War II in Europe. Then again, I didn't know about what their hell was in their countries. So if they come here and they're educated here to understand how destructive it is to hate.
In the midst of all hell, there are extraordinary people who, without questioning their own safety, will come out and do what is the right thing, who don't question, who don't hesitate. They only know in order to do the right thing, you have to act in accordance to what your heart tells you immediately. That happened to us several times, and that's why I'm here. That's why my family was here.
Well, I have only 2 words. Never again.
It should never happen again. Should never happen again.
And then if you remember history, then maybe you won't repeat it. Except she knows. She would say, a lot of the Holocaust survivors would end their speech with never again, you hope it never happens again. My mother ended hers with saying, no, it has happened again. She's sorry. She knows it's happened again. But you still have to keep trying.